Hello, and welcome to another edition of Inspiration Ink. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these super cute little treat boxes using the Love You Always treat boxes, which are in the mini catalog. The primary purpose of this video today is to show you how to fold together these boxes because it's really not intuitively obvious. But then I'm also going to show you how I decorated them real quick. So these are going out to my club members as an extra little treat along with their orders just from me. So to get started, you are going to take one of your Love You Always treat boxes. They come all folded up like this. And if you just fold on the score lines and then try and put it together, you'll be confused like I was. So you are going to need your bone folder. And you're just going to give everything a little fold and a nice sharp crease. The first flaps are fairly obvious. Then you're going to take this one and you're going to fold this little flap here like that. And then this teeny little flap is going to fold back over on it like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just a little bit of a crease there. Again, this one's going to fold over like that. And then the little tiny flap is going to fold back on it. All right, then on the sides, we're going to start with the easy side first, the shorter side. Again, you're just going to fold it over, give it a crease, fold this one over, and then fold the little flap back on itself like that. Then on the other side, you are going to give it a little fold and a crease, a fold and a crease, and then you're going to take this big flap and fold it back over on itself. So it's going to look like that. Now you're going to be able to fold this together. You're going to start by taking the little side flaps and folding them in, and hopefully you can see all this while I'm working on it. And then one of the little tiny side flaps is going to come over and you're going to tuck that in like that. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try and bend that back out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And just like that. It's actually a little easier when you're not trying to make sure people can see what you're doing on the camera. And then this flap here is going to come in. And you're going to push it into place, and that's going to help hold those side flaps in. And then the big flap is going to come down, and then this big flap on the bottom is just going to tuck right into place, and the little notch on the end is going to slide into the little slit in the front, and that's how it gets put together, which actually is pretty simple once you know what you're doing. So there's your basic box bottom, and then you've got the sleeve, and it's super easy. You're just going to need to kind of pop it open here, and you can give it a couple folds with your bone folder if you want to make it nice and tight. And then you're just going to slide your box right in to that sleeve like an old-fashioned matchbox, just like that. And you're just going to fill it with your treats, whatever you want. Mine are filled with various candies for my customers. And then you're going to decorate. And the easiest way I found to decorate was to take your piece of Designer Series paper. And I've used the Berry Delightful Designer Series paper, which is part of the Berry Blessings bundle, which you can earn for free during celebration. And I just cut out different pieces that used some of the strawberry patterns. So there's different ones that have strawberries on them. So I've cut those to 4 inches by 9 3/4 inches. You could go a teeny bit shorter if you wanted to, but I like to have a fair amount of overlap on mine. So what you're going to want to do is put a piece of tear and tape adhesive on the underside of your designer paper along those little short flaps. And then you could use tear and tape along the long edges if you want to, but I actually find it's easier if you use the Stampin' Seal, or you could use the Stampin' Seal Plus. And sometimes you got to give it a little roll to get it going. There we go. Okay, it's being stubborn. There we go. Now it's coming. All right. And we're just going to roll some Stampin' Seal along the long edges. And then I like to kind of give it a nice big X in the middle, and then maybe one more little bit right down the center. And then you're going to take one of those tear and tape pieces and peel off the protective backing. You're going to take your box and you're going to start on the underside of your box. So make sure you do have it. Yeah, that's the open side. And you're going to just place that on there. Try and get it straight about the middle of the bottom of the box. Give it a little press. And then you're just going to start wrapping it around your box. And as you go, you can kind of crease it along the edges. And you can wiggle it a little bit. I got a little bit off kilter there, so try and pull it back over. And just press it into place as you go. I find it's easier to do this than it is to try and measure and score at exactly the right point, because when I do that, it never quite lines up right. And when you get around to the back side, you're just going to peel off your other protective backing and lay that over and press it in place, and there you go. You've decorated the sleeve. So now you can decorate the top of the box pretty much however you want. Because I was going for the strawberry theme, I decided to use the Sweet Strawberry set with the matching Strawberry Builder punch. So what you're going to do first is I have taken a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock, and I am going to use the Poppy Parade, which is one of the coordinating colors. And I just want to stamp the little sentiment that just says, "Just for you." And I want to make sure that I get it in the right place here, because we're going to be cutting it out using one of the Ornate Layers dies. So I've gotten the die that I'm using out, and I'm just going to put it on top. And then after I ink up my stamp, you can kind of get an idea of where to stamp your image right inside of that. And then I am simply going to run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then I will use the Take Your Pick die brush tool to pop out all those little bits and pieces. If you missed any, you can usually pop them out with your fingers, or you can use the the paper piercing tool on the Take Your Pick to finish punching them out. But it's going to look like that when you're done. And then you're simply going to glue that to the front of your box. So a little bit of the Stampin' Seal, and that's just going to go right in the middle of the top of the sleeve. And then we're going to add some strawberries. So to do them, I am using the same stamp set, and I've got the solid strawberry image here, which I'm inking up with the Poppy Parade, but I want to stamp off first. I'm going to stamp onto my scratch paper, and then because of the way that the punch is oriented, I'm actually going to stamp that strawberry upside down. So see, you can see that the punching thing, the strawberry is upside down. Then I'm going to take the outline strawberry image, ink it up with the Poppy Parade. This time we're going to go full strength, and we're just going to stamp that right over the top of the previously stamped image. I'd already done one. I did want to point out to you that because of the detail in this punch, you do want to leave a little bit of space between your stamped strawberry images. Otherwise, when you punch out the one, you'll punch out part of the next one either with the flower or the leaf cap, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to unlock the punch. I'm going to slide my punch strawberry, and can you see what I was talking about the overlap? If I had stamped this strawberry right next to the first one, I would be punching out part of it there, and we don't want that. So leave a little space, give it a punch, move it over, and punch out the other one. I'm trying to get it lined up with still letting you see what I'm doing. All right, and you can leave your punch unlocked for a moment because you're going to use it again in just a minute. Pick up all my little bits and pieces here. All right, so again, we're just going to pull out the Stampin' Snail, add a little bit of Stampin' Seal, excuse me, and we're going to glue down one of those punched out strawberries, and a little bit on the back of this one. And we're going to do the same thing. Oops, not on there, on the box. Let them overlap just a little bit here. Then I am going to stamp my strawberry top. For that I am using the Garden Green ink pad. And I have the little strawberry leaf cap. Ink it up. And I'm stamping it onto a piece of Granny Apple Green. And I'd already stamped one because I need to do 2 more of these boxes. But again, I wanted to point out to you to pay attention to the orientation of the punching parts of the punch, so that when you go to slide it in, you can do that. And again, if you punch these, if you're making multiples, if you stamp too close to each other, you'll be punching out part. So I did one on that side, and then for the next one that I'm going to do, I just stamped it going the other direction so that I'd still have a little bit of cardstock to grab onto here. And we're just going to slide that in and punch. Now, if you're only doing one of these boxes, you only need one of these. I just wanted to show you if you're doing multiples, how you would want to stamp them. All right, so now that we've got those, we're going to use either the fine tip glue pen or the multi-purpose liquid glue will do the trick here. And hopefully you can see I made a boo-boo and stamped on the wrong side. So we've got a little bit of ink on the back, but that's okay where it's going to be covered. Put a little bit of that fine tip glue pen on there. Pick that up. And that's going to get glued to the top of the top strawberry, the one that's over on the left side. Close up my glue so it doesn't dry out. And now we're going to stamp the little tiny flower. Again, I've already pre-stamped one. We're going to be using the Flirty Flamingo ink pad for this one. And I'm just going to ink it up and stamp. And again, leave a little bit of room in between so you don't punch out one when you're punching out the other, if you're doing multiples. If you're not doing multiples, you don't really have to worry about it so much. And then that's going to get slid in here and get it lined up and give it a punch. And there's my cute little flower, which we're going to stick on using a mini Stampin' Dimensional. You could use a bigger one if you want to. I like the minis for this though, because you don't have to worry about it showing outside the edges of your image. And pop that on there. And then the finishing touch is one of the beautiful pastel pearls, which are in the mini catalog. They're hard to get a hold of though. They keep going into a back order status because they're so popular. And then I am just peeling up one of the Rococo Rose color ones, which is a really nice little light pink, and popping that right in the center of the flower. If you don't want to use your fingernails, you could use the Take Your Pick tool with the little mini spatula instead. And there you go. That is your finished box. All I have to do now is fill this with some treats and give it to somebody to say thank you. And I hope you enjoyed, and we'll tune back in another time. Thanks. Bye-bye.